Because Twitter somehow started to play into our local politics. Most of these big tech companies have this kind of they leverage on two opportunities. There is an economic opportunity and a political opportunity. Where they don't get one, they go for the other. So it's clear that Twitter is trying to leverage on a political opportunity in Nigeria, and albeit the toxic part of the political opportunity that is capable of breaking down law and order. So in this case, I think they should be suspended for now until they try to review their own policies as it affects Nigerian political terrain.
Let's go on a quick break, and when we get back, we'll continue with the conversation. You're welcome back. So I was saying, we've had entrepreneurs, we've had entertainers come out to say this ban has had a big multiple effect on their businesses. Now the question is, what opportunities does the ban have for the Nigerian tech industry?
The tech, as I started saying earlier, the tech industry has a very big opportunity, trying to show you that these big techs, provided they are coming from another country or maybe doing their own business in your country, their first target is what they can get as part of their interest, not your interest. So if you pack all your things and try to depend on another country's tech platform, it means when they choose on their own to say they don't want to do business in Nigeria, does that mean that's the end of your business? So our tech people should pay serious attention in building their own technology ecosystem that can compete or compete with that big tech company. So to me, this is a very big opportunity. And you saw very clearly, we leverage on this opportunity very well when this happened, when we start introducing COWI application, although it's been on store since before the outcome. But we began to say, look guys, we also have our own. So we should not just depend exclusively on the foreign big techs.
Okay, so I want to ask a follow-up. So first of all, countries like India, for example, has also followed in the footsteps of Nigeria. Countries have gradually begun to say, you're doing too much. Your interference in the affairs and the activities of politics in the countries has become so much that it is no longer, the clamor for freedom of information and freedom of expression. For example, we have companies like Google, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, who have been operating, freely in the economic space of those countries for a very, very long time. They've not been paying tax. They've been making money in the billions of dollars, by the way, and they've not been adding value financially, as a matter of fact. And for this long, governments have always looked at them as a means of communication rather than a business entity that should be taxed and should be bringing revenue into the government, of these individual countries. So the question is, these countries or has the continents of the world begun to understand, the dividends and what is to be made from social media and instant messaging applications?
Yes, your summary was very right. When it came, not just the government, but the people felt like it is like an ecosystem where we can just participate and play, connect, share, collaborate, and co. But these guys, first and foremost, are profit-making and highly organized capitalist settings. And their own kind of capitalism is surveillance capitalism. We survey you, we pick information, and then we profit from it. And because of the nature of the operation, the model is completely in variance with the current economic model that the world is operating. Most of the economic principles that work in the 20th century doesn't apply to them. You can have maybe law of diminishing returns. They can tell you their own is law of increasing returns.
How do you tax
you can have like let's say your asset in your company, within your own organization, but their own asset is outside the company. Now there are a lot of variants. They have a concave, you have a convex, so there are a lot of variants of interest. So people cannot filter, are this really profit making or they are just evolution of technology? So eventually, when they began to become so powerful, like Facebook with a capitalization of $936 billion, that is even 3 times the size of Nigeria's GDP, then it calls the question, why are you still operating in Nigeria, for instance, when you don't add no direct value to Nigerian economy? So this is where the problem is. And then so many countries, because of maybe some kind of policy misconception around how to handle the situation of social media, because even the United States, where they originated from, are still finding it very difficult to regulate them. then they began to interfere into politics. As I said earlier, they took advantage, usually take advantage of two things, either economic opportunity or political opportunity. In the case of Twitter, for instance, where it is banned in Nigeria, they don't make money in Nigeria. They have about, I think, 40 million users with about 9 to 12 million active users month over month. And if you look at their net capital cash flow, I think is maybe $9 million, $10 million per annum, compared to Facebook that is making about $70 million in Nigeria. So now, what should they take? The best solution is political opportunity. Try to influence people's opinion, no matter how toxic it may be, to attract attention, because what you sell on platform business is actually attention. So now you are trying to attract attention by delegitimizing our conventional media and making you as the main voice for so-called freedom of expression. In tune, you get people's attention for you to be able to get some of your means. Maybe later you can convert them to economic opportunity. So that's exactly what they are doing. So in doing so, they are trying to destroy our country. Meanwhile, we are not benefiting nothing from them. Like if you check their decision to go and cite maybe headquarters in Africa, in Ghana. But by looking at this, you already know that these guys are just trying to repatriate profit and minimize their own risks to consumption, because Nigeria is actually the principal target. In the whole world, Twitter have 360 million users. Nigeria has 40 million users out of the 360 million. Nigeria is the third country that uses Twitter much more than any other country in the world. I think United States first, then Philippines, then Nigeria. So why will they not cite an office in Nigeria? Because they are trying to escape to maximize their profit. But so these are the things that we need to look at. So banning them makes a whole lot of sense, because it gives them opportunity to come to the window of regulation so that they can be able to register in Nigeria, hire Nigerian labor, pay Nigerian tax, in addition to all other big techs that are operating in our media space.
So do you think banning them would have been the right step, other than having a discussion before the ban? Because before now, we've had people who have complained that they have lost so much money. We've had people who have started small businesses. You know, unemployment has always been a thing in Nigeria. So we have people who are trying to fend for themselves, and they've come on our social media and they've said, look, this Twitter ban has not been good for them. And we've had people who have made serious money from Twitter. So do you think banning was the right approach?
I think banning is the best approach, not just the right approach. Why? Because if you look at what Twitter is trying to do, as I mentioned, political opportunity, they try to leverage on the toxic side of the politics of Nigeria. What is destructive is what gives me the more attention, is what gives me the more users, so that's what I can amplify. These things are algorithm-defined bots system that tries to amplify based on user perception what should attract the attention. So that's how they do to make their money. So you have toxic people like IPOB guys insulting, calling for blood, and Twitter is giving them the necessary attention, much more than the other side that they say no. And be that as we can say is freedom of expression, we run platform companies. We know that there is a way you can be able to run a bot to influence opinion. So that's exactly, if you look at the direction, that's what they are trying to do in Nigeria. And Nigeria is not the first inference. They have done the same thing in other countries. Like we've seen in Egypt, it was a social media revolution. Syria, it was the same thing. In fact, Libya, most of the revolution around bringing down Gaddafi started from social media. So they will start innocently under the guise of freedom of expression. But if the politics is what gives them what they want, they amplify it. So in the case of Twitter, it becomes a national emergency, where from amplifying evil and fault line that make Nigeria to be so divided, much more than how it ever been, and then at the same time even attacking the president tweets. You can imagine these things. Even though when you look at the tweets, very clear, to the best of my knowledge and the knowledge of so many other people that disagree with the deletion, you can see clearly that the president is trying to say that, look, we had that experience of 30 months of war, we can never repeat it again. But they say that it's genocidal. When they ask them why, they say it's a report of the community. And based on what I know in platform technology, you don't take decisions because people are asking you to do so. You take decisions because it violates your rules. But if you look at it very clearly, even they cannot justify why they deleted it. Just at the end of the day, they were saying that because it was reported. Now, if it is reported, what are you trying to do? You are trying to go to the majority. What is the election? Election is majority win against the minority. So that means clearly you are trying to be a politician in Nigerian space. You don't operate in Nigeria. You don't employ labor in Nigeria. You don't pay tax in Nigeria. You don't do anything in Nigeria. Therefore, they should stay away pending when they regularize, in addition to other social media platforms. And usually there's a starting point, then Twitter became the starting point in this case.
Could you juxtapose this, your explanation, with the then president of US, of the United States of America, that's Donald Trump? They did not just delete his tweet. He was banned. That's correct. Yes. So the whole force that all of this activity is generating in Nigeria seems to be different when it came to the American government. Why is that?
Yeah, because Twitter cares more about America. When their president is supporting insurrectionists against their democracy, Twitter decided to say, look, get out from here. But in our own case, when our country is burning down, Twitter is busy verifying those people that are advocating for this burning down. You saw what happened in Lagos, the kind of destruction that took place. Billions of naira was wasted. In fact, there is a direct connection, between ShopRite leaving Nigeria and the looting that happened during NSAS. Because they lost so much money. People just pieces their shops and park properties, so they don't have any option again. There is no business in Nigeria because the political risk is too high. So because of that, we have to just let Nigeria go. And that is their largest market in Africa. So you need to look at the kind of money that we lose as a result of that looting that took place, because Twitter decided to pass so many fake news that rose tension, that gave opportunity for hoodlums and criminals to turn otherwise a very peaceful and responsible protest into a criminal enterprise. So if should that be happening in America, you and I know what they will do. They will not just delete the tweets of those people that are trying to call for insurrection, they will ban them, like they did to the #1 man in their country. So it's clear double standard that we need to be able to understand. So that's why the best solution is for us to have our own platform that also cares for our interests, so that we will now be able to advocate what is good for us and try to make sure that we remove or maybe neutralize what is bad. The whole essence of establishment of platform is to have a governance model that be able to encourage good behavior and discourage bad behavior. So sometimes good behavior in your country could be bad behavior in another man's country. So that is exactly what these guys have done. So we should never allow this kind of thing to happen in the first place. That's why I think what they did to Donald Trump and what they do in Nigeria, it's clear indication of double standard, how they push their priorities.
All right, so now going forward, what do you make of the negotiation, the plans by the government to negotiate with the Twitter people on a common ground to come to a balance? What do you take of it?
Yes, I think it is a very good approach, even though I totally think the model of the approach can be technically faulty, but I think it's good. Why do you say that? I believe Nigeria is a sovereign country, and as a sovereign country, you should not be able to negotiate with a profit-making organization. You should have another profit-making organization in your country talking on your behalf. You can't carry a country like Nigeria talking to Twitter. This to me is somehow what even condescending to our sovereignty. We should have another entity like them or similar to them, or an entity that we hire or within the country that is a profit-making organization or the profit-making system or a legal firm or something to engage them.
That can bring funds for the country.
Exactly. Somebody outside the government should engage them. Because this is not about government and Twitter. This is about Nigerian people and Twitter. And Twitter is a profit-making organization. If it would have been involving American government, maybe Twitter decided to come through the American government, then Nigerian government can involve. But Twitter, trying to negotiate with the government, to the best of my knowledge, our government have condescended to Twitter's supremacy as an entity like government. And this, to me, brings about a crisis of model. So they should have look at another body outside the government to be able to discuss with Twitter about Twitter's interests in Nigeria and then communicate back to government.
Okay. I think that's the much we could take on the conversation this morning. Unfortunately, we've had such a very beautiful conversation and a beautiful discourse, but we've run out of time. Thank you so much for coming on the conversation this morning.
We do hope that we'll have more of these conversations with you in the future.
Exactly. No problem. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much to our viewers. Thank you for staying tuned to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network. Do not forget, you can always be a part of our social media community by following us across all our social media platforms. That is the displayed on your screen. That is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course you can live stream all of our content on our website www.tostvnetwork.com. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so you do not miss out on our amazing content. My name is Merciful Ajinomo.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for watching.